everybody, it's Finn here again. I'm going to talk a little bit about my experiences in the year 2016 and my encounters with police and Finnish embassy. Nathan got so worried about me that he started following me. He was messaging my friends, my family, and I was convinced that the CCTV cameras were following me and that I was possibly going to be poisoned like Alexander Litvinenko, this Russian spy who drank this polonium tea in the early 2000s. And I was in a grocery store picking up water bottles, and I was thinking which one is poison, which one is not. Nathan also tried to take me to hospitals, and no one would see me. He was trying to get help for me. He was very concerned, and he was following me everywhere. I was seeing my clients, and then that was all around London. He was just following me. The night I stayed at his place, and we were watching Flight of the Conchords, and I thought this was a good ad that I was there in the nest of kiwi in Maida Vale. He had 2 kiwi flatmates, and then the next morning he was supposed to go to work, but he said he's not going to go to work, that he's going to follow me again. And I got really upset, and I shouted at him, and I told him that I don't want him to follow me anymore. And I called the police, and I told them that Nathan was following me everywhere. And then it was really hard. I told the police that I just want him to stop following me. And on the phone, the police was, "Oh, you felt like someone was following you, that there was a man following you before, and this is not the first time you're suggesting something like this." And they were sort of questioning me about that. And then they turn up, there's this huge guy, and then this lady. And the lady goes to talk to Nathan, and the tall guy comes and talks to me. And I remember in his uniform, his surname was Knight. And he asked me what I want. And I said that I want Nathan to stop following me, and that I want to help the dog, and that I want to be just left alone. The police officer took my passport and went to the police car and spoke to somebody on the phone, and then came back out. And then they said that I was free to go. And I said to them that Nathan is the kindest person I know, and that I wish nothing bad for him, and that I wish that he's fine, and that I don't want him to get into any kind of trouble, that he's the best person I know. And then Nathan tried to follow me again, and the police said, if you go after her, we will have to arrest you. That same day, I went to meet up with my friend Ellie, and I said to her that I need to go to Finnish embassy in London. And I went to Finnish embassy, and there was this strange guy complaining that he was out of money and he didn't have a place to stay. And the embassy people were telling him that they don't know how to help him, and that this is not some kind of social services, that he seemed like, to me, in my psychotic mind, I thought he was like a school shooter or some kind of Finnish terrorist. And then I got to speak to this embassy person, I think she was consulate, and Ellie was there with me, so I was speaking in English. And I told her how worried I was about the dog, and how I want to help the dog, and how I just want there to be some kind of consequences for the dog to be able to go out for walks when she needs to, and how I was ready to do pretty much anything to help the dog. And then I left the embassy, and I slept that night at Ellie's place. At the time, Boris Johnson was the mayor of London, And I told Nathan that I want to message Boris Johnson about the dog Tikkari. And Nathan got the email address for me. And I thought, oh, finally he understands me and he gets that I'm in trouble and that I need to contact all these people about this saving Tikkari adventure. And then I decided that I wanted to go, that I felt in my heart that I needed to go to St. Thomas's Hospital. It was in the evening, and that was really strange experience. On the way there, I took 2 cabs, and when I got out of the first cab, I was trying to call an ambulance for myself, or actually my phone had run out of battery, so I was stopping somebody random on the street, and I was in full panic, and I was like, please call me an ambulance, I need to get to St. Thomas's Hospital, and I don't know if I can make it. And he tried to call me an ambulance, but the ambulance refused to come. So I took another cab there, and then I went to through triage, and then the first nurse that saw me, she was like, I'm going to call on this, there was this red telephone, I'm going to call with this red telephone and get you help. Do you want me to do that? And then she rang somewhere, and then this car came to pick me up, and I was taken to this another waiting lobby. And on the lobby I saw this elder guy, and he was with some lady, and they were trying to get my attention, and they were talking to me, and the guy didn't speak. I don't know if he was mute or why he didn't speak anything, but he was sort of like, he was doing gestures at me. He was pointing up and saying I should be quiet, like sort of like upstairs, be quiet. And then I told like the triage nurse that I was worried about the dog, and that I went earlier to Ealing Hospital, and in Ealing Hospital they had offered me diazepam, and that I would want the diazepam now. And then I eventually got to talk to a doctor, and I said, I want the diazepam and I want to help this dog, and I'm this dog Tikkari, and that I've had a really rough couple of days. And then he was like, you can't just turn up in the hospital and demand to get diazepam, that's not how it works. But then eventually I was taken into this room where this nurse came to talk to me, and then this other nurse talked to me, and then they said because my phone had run out of battery, my phone had died, I didn't have contact to anyone on the any of my family or Nathan or anything like that, and they had you have visitors here at the hospital. And then I see my mom, who had come from Finland and hadn't told me that she was coming to London. And then I see Nathan, and then I start shouting, I don't want to see you, go away, I don't want you to be here, because I didn't want my mom to see me in a dirty hospital room. And even though I was worried about Nathan and his visa, I didn't want to see him either. So I said I wanted to spend the night at the hospital to the nurses and doctors, and that I wanted the diazepam and help the dog. So the doctor finally caves in and comes to me with the diazepam, and he's like, oh, here's the diazepam, you can take it if you want to. And I said, no, I don't really want it. I don't really want it anymore. I was like, I was just testing you. And no thanks. And then I spent the night at the St. Thomas's Hospital. And I'll tell more about that night in my next video. Alright, take care of yourselves, everybody. And see you in the next video. Bye bye.